For centuries, science has assumed something fundamental. Consciousness is produced by the brain, neurons fire, signals travel, electrical patterns emerge, and from this activity, awareness appears. But a growing number of researchers are beginning to ask a strange question. What if consciousness is not produced by the brain, but filtered by it? What if the brain is not the generator of consciousness, but the interface? In the previous episodes of this series, we explored something surprising. Your brain does not simply record reality, it predicts it. According to predictive processing theories explored by neuroscientists like Carl Friston and Anil Seth, perception is a controlled hallucination. Your brain constantly generates models of the world. These models are corrected using sensory data. But if perception is constructed, then an even deeper question appears. What exactly is the relationship between the brain and consciousness? The dominant scientific view is called physicalism. According to this view, the brain creates the mind. Damage the brain, and consciousness changes. Alter brain chemistry, and perception shifts. Turn off brain activity, and consciousness disappears. At least, that's what we expect. But some observations make this picture less simple. In the 1990s, philosopher David Chalmers introduced a famous idea. He called it the hard problem of consciousness. The problem is simple to describe. Science can explain many functions of the brain, how neurons transmit signals, how memories are stored, how decisions are made. But there is something much harder to explain. Why does brain activity produce experience at all? Why is there something it feels like to be conscious? Why does neural activity produce color, sound, emotion, and awareness? This gap between physical processes and subjective experience remains one of the deepest mysteries in science. Now things get even stranger. There are documented cases where people report vivid experiences during periods when brain activity is severely reduced. These are often called near-death experiences. People describe a sense of leaving the body, moving through a tunnel, encountering light or presence, reviewing their life. Some researchers argue these experiences are generated by a dying brain. Others believe they raise deeper questions. Researchers like Sam Parnia have investigated consciousness during cardiac arrest. Their work suggests that awareness might persist longer than expected after the heart stops. The debate is ongoing, but the mystery remains. Some scientists and philosophers propose an alternative idea. What if the brain does not produce consciousness, but filters it? This concept has appeared in various forms. Psychologist William James suggested that the brain might act as a reducing valve for consciousness. Instead of generating awareness, the brain might limit or shape a much larger field of consciousness. In this view, your individual mind is not the source of awareness, it is a channel. Interestingly, deep contemplative traditions have described something similar. In yogic philosophy described in texts like the Yoga Sutras of Patanjali, the mind is seen as a fluctuating field. When mental activity quiets, a deeper awareness becomes visible. Meditators sometimes report experiences where the usual sense of self dissolves. Thoughts fade, identity fades, but awareness remains. Pure observation. Modern neuroscience is beginning to study these states. At this point, honesty is important. Science does not yet have a final explanation for consciousness. We have powerful tools, brain imaging, neural recording, computational models, but the relationship between brain activity and subjective experience remains unclear. Some scientists believe consciousness will eventually be explained entirely by neuroscience. Others suspect that consciousness may be a fundamental feature of reality, like space, like time, like energy. Imagine for a moment that consciousness is not produced by the brain. Instead, the brain might be something like a receiver. Just as a radio receives signals from invisible waves. Destroy the radio, and the music stops. But the broadcast continues. This idea is controversial, speculative, but it opens a fascinating possibility. Perhaps consciousness is not inside the brain. Perhaps the brain is inside consciousness. For centuries, we believed that the mind lives inside the skull, but the deeper we investigate, the stranger the picture becomes. Your brain constructs perception. Your sense of self may be a model, and the source of consciousness itself remains unknown. So the final question of this series is not something science has answered. It's something each of us must explore. Is consciousness produced by the brain, or is the brain simply revealing a much deeper reality? And if consciousness is more fundamental than we thought, then the nature of reality itself may be far more mysterious than we imagine.